Welcome everyone. In this tutorial we'll see how to create and submit an expense report via the web platform. Depending on the configuration of your business, several methods may be offered to you to create an expense report and include the deferral of your expenses. These will be detailed in future tutorials. In general, to create an expense report, click on New Expense Report. For any new report, you should give it a name to help your managers understand the expense context. Depending on your business configuration, you may be asked for a reason. Feel free to share details and explanations with your managers for faster understanding and refund. Then click on Create. You'll now see the expense report that you've just created. Each new report has a specific identification number in case you need to communicate it to your accounting department. At the top left of the screen are your profile information together with the cost breakdown. In the centre is a summary of your expense report which will update as you add expenses. Non-compliant expenses will be automatically detected according to your reimbursement policy, and the reimbursable amount will be summarised to help you understand it. In Traveldoo you'll find different expense categories such as transport, catering, accommodation and so on. Under each category you have different types of expense. If we take the transport category for example, then we can select as the expense type airline ticket, fuel, public transport, train and so on, depending on the settings in place for your company. Each expense type has its own form with different input fields such as date, amount, VAT and so on. This form may be different from those shown in our examples depending on the configuration in place, but the data entry principle remains the same. For example, if you add an expense such as a mileage allowance, you enter the date, origin and destination of the expense, and click on the calculator to automatically calculate the distance that will be used for the allowance. You can add comments, then save and add a new expense. For an expense made in another currency, select your expense type such as lunch, then fill in the form with the date. Our user's currency is euros. If the destination of the expense we choose has another currency, for example London, then the currency will automatically convert from euros to pounds sterling with the exact daily expense rate. You can add a supplier and a reason if desired. Then enter the expense amount. Enter your payment method and add a receipt. Choose between downloading a file or selecting one from your Traveldoo receipt wallets. Your paper supporting documents may need to be kept, unless your company has opted for probative archiving. Select your receipt and click Choose to add it to your expense line. Finally, click on Save. Note that you can still edit each one by clicking on the pen symbol on each line. You can also add comments. Once all of your expenses have been entered manually, you can proceed to the step of submitting your expense report. Make sure you've attached the receipts and if necessary have added a comment to your manager. At the top of the expense report you can view an expense summary that shows what will be paid by the company, what amounts are non-compliant, and how much will actually be reimbursed to you. The status of the expense report at this stage is creation in progress. This will change when the expense report is submitted. We can now click on Submit to request approval for it. Check your approval workflow and confirm. The status of your expense report is now changed to pending approval. Also note that you can print your expense report, download it as a PDF, and view its history. After this step, if you need to change your expense report, you can click on the Recall button, but this is only possible until the claim is approved. To see the reimbursement status of your expense reports, be aware that you'll receive an email at each new stage, from creation to being sent for payment. Also, on your Traveldoo Web platform, you can view the status of expense reports. Traveldoo uses 4 types of statuses: to be completed, submitted, approved, and reimbursed. On your home page, you can see at a glance a list of your submitted expense reports with their statuses. You can see the date the expense report was last updated, the expense amount, and the status. Orange is pending, green is finished. In addition, the screen is dynamic. By moving your mouse over the expense report, you'll see its status. The different stages of an expense report are creation in progress, awaiting approval, awaiting reimbursement, and sent for reimbursement. Thanks for watching and see you soon on Traveldoo.